Hey there, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. It's DMG, and welcome back to Blitz. And today we are going to see some sub replays from two fantastic players having two fantastic games. This first one is from King Zeus in the T110E4, the Tier 10 turreted American tank destroyer. This tank is not necessarily my favorite, but King Zeus is going to show us why it can be so effective. 640 alpha on a turret. I think it's the only one in the game besides the grill, but it does have armor, and it does have a very high penetration gun, more so than the grill, even though it does lose out on some accuracy. However, King Zeus has no trouble putting in shots on that T-57 right in the corner of mines on the hill. Anyways, some channel updates for you. One, I'm trying to make the channel more accessible and less cluttered. If you actually look through my playlist, you'll see that I have completely removed the gameplay section and to the points where I do not talk and just upload raw gameplay. I didn't figure that that was actually too helpful after some long reflection on it, and that has since been removed. The only non-commentated types of content I'm going to produce are going to be the streams, but at least there you can still talk to me. So I have just simply put that as the placeholder for the gameplay. Additionally, I'm trying to delete out some of the old playlists that I don't want. I'm going to try and do a different style of tank review. You know, having played some different games and watching YouTubers that I really like, I try to find styles that are more that I like and that I appreciate, and maybe I like to share those with you. So hopefully I'll be doing a different kind of tank review. It'll be more in-depth, that's for sure. But I hope you guys will really like it. It's going to take me a little longer to produce, but I plan on doing one for as many tanks as I can reasonably fit in, given the ratings battles and stat requirements, you know, and stuff like that. Anyways, a few other things is that I will be doing more back to basics videos. I know a lot of you come here just to see the map reviews. I'm trying to get them all down on paper, or just on footage first, just so I have something to go off of. I will be doing a redo of all of them. I do know you guys have asked to see actual in-game footage of me playing the map. I want to say that I'm going to try and get that for you, but that is quite difficult, as that means I have to actually get the map and then use that specific spot for the game, or for that game, in order to get that footage. So the chances of that happening are quite slim, but I'm going to do my best to try and get that out for you. So, but let me finish up the style that I'm doing right now for the map reviews, and we'll see where that goes. Last but not least, as for all the other topics that I do, I'm just going to try and condense those. I don't really think, you know, there should really be a difference for like advanced stuff, intermediate stuff. I figure you will watch it as you want, you will go as you want. I'm not going to try and bar people and say you're not good enough to watch this content. I'm not really a big fan of the Patreon thing where it's like you have to pay to get extra content. I'd rather just take it through donations of you guys thinking that it is worthy enough to watch during the streams. But that's what's going on channel. So just give you some time, as I'm sure you'll like the new tank reviews, but it will take a slight bit longer. I'm sure you'll appreciate the analytical side of it a little more. Anyways, King Zeus is doing a great job in this moment as he is taking out one by one every enemy on the team, and this E100 looks to be next on the plate, using this center area of mines, and luckily he is able to use this very seemingly open area early game and use it as cover in the late game. This E100 640 alpha gun, I personally think it is the better of these two. Most people like to compare the E4 to the E100 and talk about which is better. People say that the E4 is a mini E100 with better gun handling. I say that the E100 is just a more armored E4 with some heat penetration added on. Anyways, he gets that shot in. Turreted tank destroyer allows him to get that done and takes out the E100 for the final kill of the game. Fantastic job to King Zeus in that moment, clocking over 7 1,000 damage in this game on mines. A tankster's paradise, and it really pays out well for him there. Our next replay will be from Michael John in the AMX 50B. This is quite an old replay, actually, but it still does showcase some very, very good moves and thoughtfulness in the game. Himmelsdorf. It's a paradise for heavy tanks. Not necessarily where you want to be in a bat chat. I know they are used in competitive, but in the public game, bat chat may not be what you want to go for on this map. Neither would 50B, as all that gun depression, you don't really need that. The most you really need on this map is 8, and that's using like the most extreme angles. The AMX 50B, though, is at least fast, and it has enough speed to get over here and take out some mediums. That Object 140 not going to feel so healthy after a clip of 3 is driven into him. AMX 50B does have a slightly troll front plate, doesn't have the best turret, but he does get in another shot before taking one in return, not needing to rely on the weak armor of the 50B. 50B has worse sides than most heavy tanks. Easily HE-able, actually. Thank God the Death Star was nerfed, right? Because it makes it a little bit harder to abuse those juicy sides that the 50B has. But granted, you know, I think the point here would be, as long as you can do that to people, catch them in a panic, and, you know, almost make them rush a shot, you will be doing fine. Something that I think is important through this replay that you should be keeping track of is when he is doing a full clip reload, he is relocating. He is not staying in the same spot. Granted, sometimes there is a time for that, but he is moving as he's going on his full clip reload. When you use an autoloader, it's all about front loading your damage. You want to be able to fire on the reload with an autoloader, as you do with all tanks. But this is especially true with an autoloader. If you can't get out your 3 shots in the most minimal time given to you, then you're going to be hurting on DPM. And then when you go for your full clip reload, you're completely exposed. Michael John hasn't been doing a great job of this right now in these past 30 seconds, but he is able to put in 2 very cheeky shots on this IS-7, putting 800 into him and pulling back immediately. AMX 50B has a decent reload, actually does have worse DPM than the T57 Heavy, and has worse interclip as well. So it has that longer clip reload and that longer interclip, but it makes up for that with its better speed and, I guess, better front. But regardless, he's going to take out this, I believe that's a, what, IS-4 or an IS-8, I think, something like that. The tanks are a little small, but 1200 clip alpha is fantastic, and it allows you to easily X off targets. So when you're reloading that clip, make sure you use your burst intelligently, and you're able to either take out a target or severely cripple one. Don't put a round into one tank, one round into another tank, and then one final round into a different tank, each doing 400 damage. And while that might be good early game, and that may be all you're given, it is always better to focus down and shoot one target, or focus the fire as much as possible when you're driving a tank like this, because the more you let enemies sit around, the longer they will be able to abuse you in a focus fire during one of your long reloads. Something that I didn't really like about this tank when I was driving it was its awful camo. He gets spotted all the way across the courtyard. I know heavy tanks don't have great camo in general, but this is atrocious for a heavy tank. And that mouse able to put shots into the 50B's very, very weak side, and he can't really do anything about that. He keeps trying to pen with APCR, but it is not happening. That is a shot I wouldn't really try and go for. After that mouse fired and turned his turret, I'd try and maybe rush around or rush through that courtyard, get to a closer position so that I could engage him more effectively, rather than try and do this long-distance war where all he's going to do is angle and bait out your shots, consequently wasting more time. And that is what the mouse does best, is wasting the time of other tanks so that your team can win. Michael John is currently at the rails, not sure what he's going to do. He's vacillating back and forth about whether to go towards the enemy spawn or his own. He decides to make a move back for his own as a heavy tank chases him. This mouse is coming, and so is, I can't tell. Actually, that is such a small little blip on the screen. I will have to see it when it actually comes through. Anyway, he's going to go to this location. Oh, it's an IS-7, and he will be able to get a clip on him. The IS-7 does miss, and fantastic work there. Takes him right out of the game. Being able to put that burst damage to good work to be able to X off a target that most tanks would take double the time to kill or triple the time to kill to get the same result. AMX-50B is quite a lethal tank for the good drivers of the community. Granted, it's not everyone's favorite. I know some people prefer the T-57 for its stronger or more trolley turret. I guess for whatever that's worth, as it is still not the best. But something else that is quite bad about this tank is the traverse, which makes it a little bit difficult to get around this mouse. Luckily, the mouse is very slow, and while it does have the traverse, it doesn't have the top speed that the 50B does, so it looks like Michael John has the advantage in this situation. And especially because now he's using some cover, being able to play Ring Around the Rosie with this mouse, it is quite easy for him to go on full clip reload everything again, and just make another passing drive-by at him. This is quite dangerous for the mouse, and I do not recommend this kind of situation. I would try and get a little closer to the 50B, put a little bit more pressure on him, maybe try to make him rush a shot, but mouse does miss, and he gets set on fire there. Fantastic work for another round in. Will he get this last round and high roll for the kill? He does not. He will need to go on another full clip reload. Mouse might use HE on him. He does, and he will take all that damage there. And he is now stuck against the wall. Will he get past? He does. Fantastic. Traverse, though, not fantastic. Will the mouse's turret be able to compete and get in close with him? I don't think it will. Not in time, at least. APCR. Oh, a miss. And that's another hit that he's taking. He's going to bounce. Oh, he gets that final shot. Fantastic with the APCR at the end to X off the mouse in the cheek, exploiting its weak point and taking it right out of the game for the victory of, again, 7,000 plus damage and a fair bit destroyed, making a credit profit at tier 10. Fantastic work for Michael John in the AMX-50B. If you enjoyed that content, please give that video a like, and if you didn't, please let me know what you would like to see. Something that I may do soon is to have a replay change, in the sense that I want higher quality replays coming in. I might up it to at least tier 8. I guess the good part is, you know, it does exclude some tanks, but the good part that I was getting to is that if you send it in, you know, the more chance it's going to be featured, because the more people that play high tiers, or I guess the less people that send in replays because they don't meet the requirement, the higher chance of yours is getting featured, and, you know, the skill level, I would say, in general is higher. I appreciate the opportunity for sharing my passion with you today, and I hope to see you next time.